Cad Bane's fast, but against Bossk, speed can actually get you killed. This matchup is actually brutal. Cad Bane wants to flood the board early with cheap units and push damage fast. But Bossk is the perfect predator. Every one health drop becomes a payday, and thanks to his bounty ability, once he flips, he collects twice. That means every small trade swings the game harder in Bossk's favors. So the question is, can Cad Bane push enough shield pressure before Bossk turns your early curve into his economy engine? If you're playing aggro Cad, kind of mid-rangey still, or bounty boss, this match shows you exactly where the tipping point lies. So let's dive into this week's Holotable. It's going to be Cad Bane Tarkentown versus Bossk Tarkentown. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. So we are going for the draw here. I'm using a life puck. Fortunately, my opponent's using a life counter that you really can't see the health. So I'll try my best to keep note of what exactly how much health he has. Obviously, my life puck's very clear. We both have Tarkentown, both 25 health. My opponent is going to be using, he didn't mulligan. I ended up mulliganing, and then the opponent who's on Bossk is having his initiative. So, okay, let's go ahead and record here. And all right, so I've actually been playing Cad Bane for quite a while. I think I've been playing Cad Bane since set 2. This is actually a variation of Cad Bane Tarkentown that recently won a PQ by Bobby Sapphire from the KTOD team. This deck is a little bit different. Most of the Cad Bane Tarkentown decks typically are pretty much mid-range. This deck is very different. It runs with a lot of one-drops to kind of leans more toward the aggro side, more than mid-range side, as I mentioned in the intro. So I was interested in trying the deck out. I didn't make any changes to the Bobby Sapphire list. I'll have that link to this deck in the description. And the idea of this, we want to have our 2 1-drops to go because we want to really push damage quite quickly. So let's go ahead and get started. I got my cards. As you can see, I play a Guavian Antagonizer's Underworld, which allows us to trigger Cad Bane. This was a big mistake that I did. I forgot that Bossk allows you to ping something that has a bounty, and the Guavian Antagonizer has bounty, so that was a big mistake. So against this matchup, I probably wouldn't want to do that. Now he goes ahead and puts a bounty on me, which is the guild target. And again, when that bounty takes off, he allows me to do base damage. So again, like I mentioned earlier, that was a big mistake. I should have not done that. Right now I'm anticipating what card to play. Really, all I could do at this point either is take initiative or play the criminal muscle. There's not enough resources, unfortunately, to play Aura of Seeing. So right now I'm kind of thinking about what I need to do. He went ahead and Tarkentown my Guavian Antagonizer, which ends up killing him. He collects his bounty, which I take 2 damage and go to 23 health. Again, I think here I'm just kind of, I decided not to actually, I ended up passing and he ends up claiming. So we just go to the next turn. Again, I still want to try to build a wide presence on the board. The whole deck revolves around going very wide and smacking slowly. So I went ahead and dropped the Death Star Stormtroop, which is the 3/1. Went ahead and dropped another bounty, which is the rich reward. So that tells me he has some kind of card that could potentially kill him. That could be a daring raid. It could be open fire. It could be multiple things. He did not have anything to kill it, which he actually did. And now he collects the bounty and he buffs up his HK. And I take some damage onto the base. That was actually a really good combo that he did. There's not much I can do there, but again, I learned a lot in this game. It actually prepared me for the second and third games because now I had exactly knew what his game plan was. So we're gonna go ahead and figure that out. But again, we're doing we have 22 damage on our base. I don't think I've done any damage on him at this time. We surprise strike and go for the trade. I don't want the HK to be on the board because that's going to allows him just to get extra damage. His whole deck revolves around pinging and getting double bounties. Then we bring in the Renegade here. Again, this is another card that's added into the deck. It is Underworld. It allows us to trigger the Cad Bane ability. And then I went ahead and Cad Bane, Tarkentown, his unit. We don't want Dengar to have the ability to discard so he can ping us. Again, that's this whole game plan. He's going to do a lot of damage, not from direct attack damage. He's doing it from all of his bounties and attacks. So let's go on to the next turn here. We're on resource 5. My opponent has initiative, so I'm just kind of waiting here. I have 2 cards. Obviously, I have I call these the Bash Brothers. Forlom is actually very, very good here. It allows us to really swing in hard. Now, this was very, very difficult. He put a Vader onto the ship as a pilot. Unfortunately, that is very, very, very strong. I did not have Waylay, did not have a Bamboozle, didn't have a Confiscate. So this was a very massive hit. He attacks in, Vader's on attack, kills my Renegade. Because it's something died, he gets to do an extra base damage. Now I'm sitting at 12 damage left. He deploys Bossk, I claim initiative, he goes for base. Right now, guys, this first match is looking very grim. I'm sitting at literally 8 health. I think I've only done like maybe 5 damage to his base at this point. So, my turn. Let's see what I can do. Right now, there's nothing I think in my hand that can take care of that punishing one. We have a Ruthless Raider and we have Forlom. So, I needed to draw Waylay. I needed to draw Bamboozle. Something that could potentially help me take care of this unit. Unfortunately, I don't even have Bamboozle main deck. That is a sideboard card. Same thing with Confiscate. That's a sideboard card. So at this point, there's not much we can do. I'll go ahead and swing Zuckuss into Bossk just to take him out. And then he swings in and hits me for 6 damage. My Zuckuss takes another hit. I deploy Cad Bane. And he drops a Ruthless Raider for the win. So let's go ahead and go into the cleanup phase here. We're clearly going to bring in some sideboard cards. Against this Cad Bane Tarkentown versus Bossk matchup, I definitely need to take those Guavigan Enforcers out because they're just too much of a liability. So we want to bring in Bamboozle. And we want to bring in the Lurking TIE Phantoms because the Lurking TIE Phantoms are going to be very powerful. His bounties, his effects, nothing can really kill them. He has nothing that can really destroy them. He has space, so the punishing ones can kill them. But if I can control the space once the Lurking TIEs are out, I'm probably going to win the matchup. I decided not to bring in the Devastators or the Confiscates. I think with just those cards is all I need. So right now I'm going to go ahead and go through the deck. I'm going to take out all the Guavian Enforcers out of the deck. And then I think I also end up I'd take out the playset, which is 3. And then I think I also take out another, I want to say a Guido or a Criminal Muscle, another 1-drop. I wanted to go little bit less of the 1-drops. I need to go ahead and have a little bit more of a 2-3 drops to help protect my life, really. Oh, actually ended up dropping another Death Star Stormtrooper. So again, we dropped 4 of our 1-drops. The deck runs, I think, 16 1-drops, so it's pretty good. I went ahead and cut through the reshuffling and stuff, so let's go ahead and look at our hand. Boba in the hand, McClunky's Clutch right here, because we're going to expect him to probably try to put another bounty on us early. This allows us to play something, hopefully kill something, bounce it back with McClunky. He can't collect his bounty. That is ideal. So let's see what we start off. New game. So my opponent's still deciding what to resource. I think I'm pretty convinced on what I need. I do take the initiative, so I went ahead and passed. He claims, and we go to the next round. So that's actually not bad. I do not mind actually doing that. I want to be able to kill his first unit. He wants to do the same thing as well. So I think I'm okay. I have some larger units like the Zuckus, Forloms, and Cad Bane with my Hotshot Blasters. I'm okay going in the longer range for that. He drops the droid missile platform. It's a 4-2. When it's defeated, it does indirect damage. So I went ahead and dropped Guido. Went ahead and triggered the Cad Bane trigger off of that. Does 1 damage onto the droid missile platform. He went ahead and claimed because he has nothing else to do. We both take a damage. And then I decide to Tarkin Town it. I'll take the indirect damage. And we're at 4 damage. So that's crazy how this deck works, right? I've only done 0 damage to him. I already taken 4 damage. 1 of it was my own damage. And 3 from the droid missile, while he only has 1 damage, which is from the renegade. All right, next turn, we're going to the resource 4. Again, we're looking pretty good since we're trying to go wide with this deck because we're kind of more aggro-y than mid-range. We're looking good. So the Waylay is actually very clutch. If you play something with a pilot or something, the Waylay is going to definitely take care of that. Especially last game, he went out of control with the Vader pilot onto the punishing one, and there's just nothing you can do there. Let's see. He's deciding what he's going to be doing. He drops the HK, which I'm not too worried about HK right now. We go ahead and go 3 into his base, so he should be at 4 damage at this point. Okay, he's going to spend 2 resources, and he puts a bounty on my renegade. So that's perfectly fine because now I can McClunky. I'm going to bounce the renegade back, and I'm going to do the damage onto the HK, which kills it. Which actually kills it with the Cad Bane trigger. It's 3 damage. And actually accidentally put that in the discard pile. It actually goes back to your hand in case you guys didn't know what McClunky does. So drop the renegade again. We both take a damage. We drop the Death Star Stormtrooper. And that's it. Go and I pass the turn. Next turn. Now we have going into resource 5. Right now, Boba Fett's actually a very powerful unit, but right now I don't think I needed it at the moment. I think I'm presenting pretty good bodies on the board that he has to answer. So my goal is really trying to swing in with all the units before I even play anything. Based on what he's doing, then I know what card to play next, right? So this is the idea behind the deck. We're trying to go real wide with those 1/1s and really threaten damage. Okay, our opponent plays 1 resource and plays Daring Raid. He's kind of trying to figure out who to get killed. I think the Death Star Stormtrooper is a good person to kill. It's 3 damage. It saves you a lot of damage there. I'll go ahead and swing in with Greedo, doing some more base damage to him. I think he's currently at 7 damage. He drops a punishing one. I go in with the Renegade and do 2 more. I think he's currently at 9. I think he's at 10 damage now. Okay. Bossk comes out. I drop the Miss Hunter. So Miss Hunter is actually going to be very good in this game because, again, we have a lot of bounty hunters in this deck. We can play the bounty hunter, and when it attacks, it allows us to draw a card. Plus, it gives me a chance to potentially kill the punishing one. So that. Now we get a bounty on Greedo. He kills Guido. And I take the bounty damage twice. So I'm at to 9 damage. And I did the Guido. And I miss with Guido. And I swear to God, I always miss with Guido. Okay, swings in. Remember, punishing one can ready up once something kills. So he kills the Miss Hunter, which is a good play for him to do. Next turn. So we have Zuckuss. Zuckuss is a very good card to have in my hand. We're at 6 resources. This is a good time. This is the Cad Bane deploy turn. At this point, I'm trying to think about what I want to do. Typically, Zuckuss coming out, it's a very good, but if you play something big or adds a pilot, we do want to get rid of that. So that's where the Waylay could come in clutch. So as initiative, I'm gonna go ahead and swing into the base. I'm trying to out aggro him. I want him to react to me and my units as opposed to me trying to attack his units. If I start attacking and trading with him, it's a losing battle for me because my deck tends to be more aggro-y than mid-rangey. So he swings in Bossk. I deploy Cad Bane. Again, I'm trying to save these resources to see what he's trying to do. Okay, he brings out the shuttle, puts the shield on Bossk. He's trying to protect the Bossk because he wants to get the double bounties, right? So I'm looking at the resources because I'm pretty sure I have a hotshot blaster down there. So we go ahead and do that. We play the hotshot blaster, and I go ahead and hit this base for 6 damage. So we're pretty even right now in base damage, I would say. I think I'm at 16 and he's closer to around 18 damage if I'm not mistaken. No, I think he's at 19 damage. So I claimed at this point because I want to go ahead and attack next turn. I have to threaten the damage because I could potentially win at this point. Okay. We'll go ahead and resource our card. I have a McClunky, which is always good. We had Cad Bane. I think, again, he's at 19 damage. We're looking very good because if I swing in and do 6, I win the game. I think that's how much damage he has, 19 damage. So at this point, I really want to swing in and really kill him. This is also a good time where you want to have the Renegades on the in your resource pile because this definitely allows you to kind of finish out the game if you need to do 1 or 2 more damage. They're actually really great for that as well. So we swing in with Cad Bane. He does aggression, which kills the Renegade, pops the gun from my hand. He actually said, wait a minute, he wanted to do something else. He decided to draw the card. Since this is a casual play, I don't mind allowing that. I popped the Renegade. He had 1 health left, and that is game. So we win with game 2. So no more sideboarding. We know the game plan. Let's go ahead and just go to game 3. Now, he already had kept his hand. I actually ended up mulliganing the initial hand. So I went ahead and just kind of bypassed that, guys. You don't want to see me shuffle and cut and so forth. But again, the strategy is the same, guys. We want to play our 1-drops. Ideally, we want to use McClunky to kind of bounce back anything that might have bounties. We don't want them to collect bounties, and that's the game plan. We go wide, McClunky is your MVP. So let's see how it goes this time. Again, we don't really do anything. We're both trying to kill our first round units. So that's all right. As you can see, it's starting is very similar. He drops his droid missile platform. I drop Death Star Stormtrooper. I dropped Death Star Stormtrooper first just because it doesn't have the Underworld trait, so it doesn't trigger Cad Bane. So I want to be able to play something, and that way I don't pass and go to another round, right? Then he typically plays their unit. I drop the Guido, which does have the Underworld, and then I trigger the Cad Bane ability. I go ahead and play the McClunky, brings Guido back to my hand, kills the droid missile platform. I do take 3 damage, right? But the good thing about it is my unit didn't die. We're keeping his board clear, and this is exactly what we want here. We're going to the next resource, so we're going to resource 4, which is turn 3. We got Death Star Stormtrooper ready to go in and attack. He does a daring raid, which is actually exactly what he wants to do. Him daring raiding my units and not going for my base is actually what I want. We don't need to trigger Cad Bane ability because it's a May when he drops that. He puts another Death Mark bounty. Well, guess what? We're just going to bounce Guido back. Again, he's spending the resources. I don't mind. That's 2 McClunky's already used. So I went ahead and dropped the Guido again. He drops the Dengar. And then go ahead and pay 1 for a criminal muscle. And then we go ahead and do the Cad Bane trigger. Then we Cad Bane Tarkin Town. Do you guys see how the deck works? If they try to get away from you using your Cad Bane trigger to Tarkin Town, you have so many 1-drops, you're going to be able to get onto it. The criminal muscle is pretty cool because it allows you to defeat a token or a shield. So it allows you to just, if they play that shuttle, you can get rid of a shield. So we swing in, goes 2 damage. He deploys Bossk. We go ahead and play our Miss Hunter. We go ahead and do the Cad Bane ping on him, and he goes for the base, which is fine. I don't mind Bossk swinging to base. It's not that very scary. We drew into another Miss Hunter. We have Waylay in hand. We're at 6 resources, so it's Cad Bane turn. Remember, with Cad Bane, we run with 3 Hotshot DL44 blasters. That allows us to pump out some damage pretty quick. We'll go ahead and swing into base. We're now going to be doing, I think he's sitting at 4 base damage. Of course, he's going to swing into my base, which is perfectly fine. At this point, I need to play a bounty hunter so that I could get the draw effect on the Miss Hunter when he attacks for his on-attack trigger. But I also am trying to look at my resources. I always like to double check that I have a Hotshot Blaster. It's actually pretty good, right? So went ahead and do a surprise strike and surprise strike his base for into base for 6. Again, we're going to be more aggressive. I don't get the ability from the draw effect, but that's all right. I bring out Cad Bane. He Tarkin Towns my ship, which is okay. I don't mind losing that one. And I swing in with Cad Bane doing 4 damage. And then we do pay 3. And we bounce the ship back to his hand, which is okay. At this point, I have no cards in hand. As you can see, I drew the Hotshot DL44 Blaster, which is exactly what we want. And we have the Lurking Tie. Lurking Tie is clutch in this deck. Basically negates all his bounties, negates anything Bossk can do in terms of damage, because the Lurking Tie is pretty much busted. So at this point, my opponent is thinking about, he has to attack, right, at this point, because he needs to protect his base. So that's exactly what I want him to do. Him not going to my base allows me to be more aggressive. So I went ahead and swing into his base. I think he's currently sitting at 17 damage, I think. Next time I need to put some markers on him. So I went ahead and claimed. And then, yep. No, he was actually sitting at, I needed 6 damage to kill. All right, guys, I won the game. So that is GG. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you on the next one.